If your business is still under a million, this framework will help you achieve your first million. And if you have already passed the million, then this exact same system will push you to multi-million growth. This framework has helped many businesses achieve their dreams. A UK property investment firm that doubled ROI in 6 months, and an artificial grass company in London scaled from £6,600 per month in revenue to £136,000 per month in revenue, crossing 1.5 million in a year. 20x growth during COVID when other businesses were shutting down. So far in this series, we began with the first step in the DRS, which is discovery, and we uncovered 3 golden W's: what, who, and why. And this tells how you can sell your product and service at 10x the price. Then we moved into marketing discovery, where we showed how to find right people, build their trust, and turn their attention into sales. If you missed those, go back and watch, because every step builds on to the previous one. And also we have put all this into a free discovery workbook, so you can take action as you watch. Grab it from the link in the description and then come back and follow along. Hi, I'm Rahul Parashar, founder of Credofy Solutions. I left Accenture, one of the world's leading consulting firm, to start Credofy. Made mistake, lost thousands, and then I finally hit my first million. Out of that journey came this 3-step DRS framework, which we built to help businesses avoid trial and error and make millions. Now it's time for the next stage of the discovery, which we call content discovery. So we are going to talk about this piece a bit later, and you will know why we are not uncovering this yet, because once we cover the content discovery, then this will make a lot more sense. So we have broken down this content discovery into 6 core areas to make your brand unforgettable. And these 6 core areas are: first is foundation, the second is the structure, then comes your personality, then you have your journey, fifth is your proof, then finally it's about the delivery. So look, you can have the best product and the best offer and the biggest budget for marketing, but if your content doesn't build trust and guide your target audience, your people, towards the action, your business will never scale. Content is not just what's on your website. It's the story you tell about who you are, what you stand for, and why your customer should choose you. And when done right, it becomes your biggest trust builder and conversion driver. And how to do that, we'll speak about this in these 6 core steps. So let's start with the first one, the foundation. And here we have vision, value, positioning, and promise. This is where your brand story takes the shape and which sets the direction for your messaging. Imagine this is you, this is your target audience, or let's say your ideal customer. So before you write even a single word, you need clarity on how you want to show up in your customer's mind. And ask yourself, if your website is a salesperson, how would you want it to pitch under 30 seconds? Would it be direct and professional like IBM, or warm and community driven like AMD? And how do you want it to be positioned in your market? You want to be positioned as premium, aspirational like Apple, or disruptive like Tesla, and affordable and accessible like IKEA? And what's your brand promise? The one line every visitor should remember after landing on your site: think of Nike, just do it, short, clear, and unforgettable. Without this foundation, your content risks sounding generic and forgettable. But when your vision and positioning and your promise is clear, every piece of your content on your website, be it headline, paragraphs, your case studies, this points back to the same brand story, a story that is strong enough to set you apart from your competitor. Take Spotify for example. They don't just say stream music, their promise is simple: music for everyone. And every playlist, feature, and campaign supports that idea. We'll dive deeper into this and show you how exactly to build your value and positioning in step 3 of the DRS framework, so stick around. If you want a head start, we have put together a full chapter uncovering why and shaping your brand story. We also covered this as well as talked about value and positioning in the part 1 of the video, so check check that out and download the guide. The link is in the description. So once you uncover your story, the next step in the content discovery is defining your structure and the message. This is where you put your story into spotlight. So look, because not all content is equal. So let's start with the message first. You need to start with the landing page, because this is the number one point where your visitor might contact if you are running some sort of ads. If it's not a landing page, it will be a home page. So this is the first touch point, as I talked about. And it has to be crystal clear within 5 seconds. So it needs to tell what you do and why it matters. And matters to whom? Your target audience. Because as you remember in the first part, what we said, it is not about you, it is about your target audience, what is in it for them. And then we have to keep it simple. So why this kiss is like, keep it simple, stupid. I hope you have heard that. So here, you need to have some sort of a strong headline, and you need to have some sort of a subtext or a subheadline. This could be your supporting line and followed by just one CTA. Look, I see most of the website, they put multiple CTAs, and this gets confusing, right? The moment you add multiple CTAs, you create friction and people stall instead of moving forward. From there, your landing page should follow a natural or a very pretty common order. Starting with first, you have your first primary message. So here it's what you do, and as I spoke, like why it matters. Then comes your proof. And this is like testimonials, your case studies, guarantees, and accreditation. Then you have your reinforcement. So here you have your values, your differentiators, your USP that sets you apart. So check in the part 1, when we talked about value and positioning, we talked about how to uncover your USP, and we talked about point of parity and point of differentiation. In the part 1 of the video, make sure you check that out, right? And then you have your objections. So this is where you put your VSL and uncover all the objections that your target audience might have. And finally, you have your CTA. Look, you should be placing this CTAs multiple times on your banner, then later in the page. So think it like a conversation. You introduce yourself, back it up with the proof, and then invite this particular target audience to take that particular action. It could be in bottom of your page or right on your banner, all without overwhelming them. To make that easier, we have dedicated a full chapter in our guide that breaks down exactly what sections to include on the landing page and how to order them so that they should take that particular action. You get the lead. So if you haven't downloaded that free workbook yet, grab it from the link in the description, follow along. We'll dive deeper into high converting landing page in the step 3 of the DRS, but if you want a head start, so that's the flow of the landing page, right? And here is the bigger picture. A landing page isn't just the one page on your website. This is where the structure will play an important role, and then comes your content hierarchy. So here in the content hierarchy, you have your conversion critical pages, and then you have your supporting pages. In conversion critical, you have your landing page, your service, your product pages, you have your pricing page, then you have your shop page if you're running an e-commerce site, and then you have your contact page. And in supporting pages, these could be your blogs, your FAQs, or your knowledge hub and reports. So think of a website like a book. The home page is your introduction, and your service and products are the main chapters. Proof and the testimonials back it up, and your contact page or a CTA is the final step. So each page should build on the last, guiding visitors to deep into your story without dead ends and distraction. So we worked with a consulting client who had everything jammed into their homepage. Their service, team, blog post, company values, all competing for attention. Visitor had no idea what to focus on, and their bounce rate was sky high. Once they simplified it into a one clear headline and one CTA and moved the extra details to a dedicated pages, the site made sense, and within 3 months, the lead nearly doubled. So that's the difference a clear message and structure can make. But remember, since this is a discovery stage, We are laying the groundwork only. The deeper execution of messaging and structure comes in the step 3 of the DRS framework, where everything ties together into a complete system. Also, in the next video of SEO discovery, you will get to know how to structure your site so it's not just clear for the people but also search ready for Google and other platforms. Now, with your message and structure is in place, the next challenge is making sure your target audience and your people don't understand just your content but also feel it. And that comes down to your personality and voice. So now you know your what, which is your foundation, and your structure. It is about how it should sound, and this is where your voice, tone, and storytelling comes in. So it starts with the brand personality. So this brings your brand story and your messaging into life, because it's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it. Let's start with the voice first. So this voice remains constant and this never changes. So this remains fixed no matter what happens. So take for example Apple, Nike, and Airbnb. So Apple voice is always confident and aspirational. Nike is all about bold and motivational, always pushing the limits. And Airbnb is simple and approachable. It's always people first. And your voice is who you are, whether you are aspirational, professional, supportive, or warm and approachable. That identifier doesn't shift, it remains always same. So next is your tone, and this can change based on the circumstances and the behavior. So think of again 3 parts: campaigns, your product manuals, and during the crisis. For example, if it's Nike, in campaigns their tone might be fired up and celebratory. In product manual it needs to be clear and supportive, and during the crisis it needs to be empathetic and reassuring. And here is how you can build it from scratch. So list words that captures how you want people to feel: trusted, excited, understood, or supported. Second, list the words or phrases you will always use: your value props, industry terms, and your unique language. Third, list the words that you want to avoid: empty claims, overused buzzwords, and confusing jargons. The key is here consistency. Whether someone reads your homepage or reads your blog, social post, or email, it should feel like it's coming from the same voice. If it shifts too much, people won't connect with or remember you. And then we have storytelling. So this is the third point, right? So we have already spoken about voice, then your tone, and then finally comes your storytelling. So storytelling is how your voice and tone should come alive. And this is what makes your brand like a human, not a robot or not a faceless business. Ask yourself, are you telling your own story or your customer's success story, or are you telling your people's story behind the scenes and all those moments? For example, adding a short why we started video to your about us page instantly makes your brand more authentic and reliable. And this authenticity build trust, and this trust build emotional connection with your target audience. So that's why uncovering your why is very much important, which we discussed in the part 1 of the discovery, and the free guide also walks you through uncovering your own why and turning it into your brand story. So leaders like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk weave their why into every keynote. It's what makes their message resonate so powerfully. And if you haven't watched that video yet, make sure to go back and do so before continuing, because without a clear why, you can't build a business that scales to millions. And when bringing it all together, your voice, tone, and story. So voice makes your brand recognizable, tone reassure it fits the moment, and storytelling makes it resonate. So when you get all these 3 right, your content feels natural and trustworthy and instantly familiar, like conversation with someone your audience directly know. But your personality alone isn't enough again. It all needs a clear, logical content flow. So people can follow you along the journey without friction. So now that you know what to say, your brand story and messaging, and you know how to say it, your voice and tone and storytelling, the next step of the content discovery is making sure it feels natural, easy, and follow. And that's where this content flow comes in. Because even if your messaging is strong, a weak structure, a poor flow can make visitors drop off before they ever get the point. So what you should look at when it comes to content flow, the first is your logical order. So does the content lead people step by step from understanding what you do to seeing the proof to taking that particular action? Or are things jumbled together, forcing visitor to figure out themselves? Next is your purpose of the page. So each page should have one purpose. So home page sets the stage and tells the value. Then comes your about page that tells your story and your why and builds connection with your target audience. Then you have your service page that tells about your solutions that you are doing and the problem that you are solving for your target audience. Then you have your case studies to build proof and trust. Then you have your contact page where people are taking action and you are getting leads and converting. So when pages try to do everything, they end up doing nothing well. Then you need to look at the flow between pages. If someone lands on your home page, is there a natural path that guides them deeper into your story, or do they hit dead end with no obvious next step? One of the way we explain this to clients is to map their site like conversation. Imagine sitting across with a potential customer. You wouldn't dump everything at them at once. You would first introduce what you do and then back it up with the proof and invite them to take action. Your website flow should exactly follow the same way. And at this stage, it's not about traffic, ranking, or performance metrics. Well, we'll cover later in the next step, which is SEO discovery. And right now, it's about clarity and alignment. Make sure your content flows naturally and guides people through your values, stories, solution, trust, and then finally they take action. And once you know the right journey and the content flow, it's time to fill with the trust builders. So they strengthen the flow so that visitors don't just move away from the site and they believe in you. This is where you take your content from good to credible, and people don't just want to know what you do and they don't want to know how you do it. They want proof that actually works. So here is what to focus on. First is your case study. So that shows the real result. Don't just say we increase sales. Show the before and after numbers and the exact steps you took. Then comes your testimonial and reviews. So don't just put a normal text testimonials. You need to put your video testimonials, and as I always say, record these video testimonials along with the client sitting next to them, because all those video testimonials that you see in most of the site can be bought, but when you're sitting with the client, that looks more authentic and real. Then comes your third party validation. So here you have all your PR, your awards, your certificates, and your accreditations. Even a small local award or a collaboration with a known brand signals credibility. So then comes your founder story. So this creates the emotional connection. So look, people buy into people, not faceless companies. And that's why you need to share your why you started this business, what you stand for, all your values, and your mission that drives your business. So here's a stat worth noting. Studies shows that 92% of the business feel hesitant to buy a product and service when there are no testimonials or reviews. That means your trust builders often carry more weight than your actual sales pitch. So the goal here is simply to eliminate all the objections and doubts. When visitors see proof at every stage, numbers, story, reviews, and value, they stop wondering, can I trust this company? And start thinking, I would be crazy not to do so. To make this easier, we have also created a Trust Builder Toolkit chapter in the same guide. It's a step-by-step guide that shows you exactly how to earn customer trust online. And the link is again in the description. If you haven't grabbed it yet, it's time to grab it now and build more trust and increase your conversion. And once you know the proof, the next step is making sure all your foundation, structure, personality, journey, and proof are being delivered in right format and mixes where your audience actually engage. So look, not all buyers consume content the same way. Some people want quick answers while others want depth, and some want visuals and others want text. So here is how to think about it, right? You have to produce short form versus long form. Create quick snackable content for busy scholars like short videos, carousel, or social posts, and an in-depth guide or reports for people who want to research before they buy. And how do you know which audience prefer which type of content? Simple, your site needs to be structured, and content hierarchy plays a very big role here. Those who want depth will naturally navigate to your knowledge hubs and reports, and those who want quicker answers should navigate and find FAQs in your landing page, on your summaries, or highlights directly to your product and service pages. So we already covered the short and the long form of content. Now it's time to talk about visual and text. So some prospects understand better through explainer videos, before and after visuals, infographics, while others prefer written text, blogs, and downloadable guides that they can read later. The best approach, do both, right? That way, no matter the preference, you are meeting your audience where they are. Then comes your interactive tools. So this is needed to cater both sort of audience, who wants quick answers and who wants depth. So we use this for a property investment firm. So here things like calculator, quizzes, or assessment can drive massive engagement because people love personalized insights. We used this ROI calculator for a real estate client, and it improved his conversion by 43%. And then comes repurposing. So here is where the two words connect. So we are talking about delivery from both angles, your website and your social media. Once your site content is sorted, you can repurpose into different social media pieces. Don't create from scratch every time. One detailed blog post can also become a set of short video script, and they can also become an email sequence and even graphics for social. In other words, one piece of work fuels multiple touch points. We'll talk more about formats and the delivery in the step 3 under content strategy, but for now, remember the point isn't to overwhelm yourself with every possible format. It's to choose the few that matches your audience best and use them consistently. When you do this, your content stops being stuff you publish and becomes a system that educates, engage, and move people closer to buying, no matter how they prefer to consume it. And when you repurpose and scale across formats, you are not just filling channels, you are reinforcing your original vision everywhere your brand shows up. So when you look at all 6 together, your vision defines the direction, your messaging sets the priorities, your voice gives the personality, then flow creates the journey, and trust removes doubts, and format delivers it everywhere. And the loop closes when every piece of the content delivers your brand story across various touch points. So that's why content discovery isn't about filling your site with words, it's about building a system that works for you, a system that positions your brand clearly in your customer's mind. It builds trust, tackles all the objections before they even come up, and guides your target audience naturally taking that particular action that you want them to take. When done right, your content doesn't just tell a story, it becomes the reason people trust you, choose you, and keep coming back to your brand. And now that you have got the content foundation in place, the next challenge is making sure people can actually find that content. And that is where the SEO discovery will come in place. In the next part of the DRS series, I'll show you exactly how to make your business show up everywhere your buyers are searching, from Google to YouTube or even AI-powered platforms like ChatGPT. If you found this valuable, hit like, drop comment below, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one.